All right. Okay, in this episode we're talking about pronouns. Pronoun is an English word that comes from the Roman words pro and nomen. Pro means in the place of or for. Remember, it's sweet to die for your country, pro patria. And nomen means name. So pro in the place of or for a name. So a pronoun is actually a little word that replaces a name or a noun, so that we don't have to repeat over and over and over again the noun or the name. Imagine telling a story about yourself and having to repeat your name each time. That would get old, and your audience or whoever you were talking to would get extremely tired of hearing your name. But they would remember your name. I guess that's good. Pronouns replace your name or replace a noun. Okay, there's a bunch of different kind of pronouns in English and in Latin. We're going to talk about all the different categories, all the different kinds right now, and then we're going to focus on interrogative pronouns in a minute. So there's personal pronouns. Those are the ones that you use to replace yourself. I instead of Mr. Thomas. You instead of Jake or Lucy. We instead of naming everybody that is around us. He, she, or it. Those are common. You hear those all the time. They. There's possessive pronouns. Those are the ones that you use to show that you own something. My, your, his, hers, its, theirs. My house, your car, his dog, her dog. Then there's demonstrative pronouns. Those are the ones that you use to point things out. This, that, these, those. Those are the most common, probably used demonstrative pronouns. And by the way, demonstrative comes from the Latin word demonstro, which means the monster. No, not really. It means to point out or to show. So you demonstrate, you're pointing something out. And you use your finger when you say this, that, these, those. So this house, that house, these cars, those cars. Then there are relative pronouns, and we're going to spend an entire episode talking about relative pronouns. Actually, guys, we're going to spend episodes talking about all of these, but the one on relative pronouns is coming up, so it's fresh in my mind. We're going to spend an entire episode talking about relative pronouns. But those are the ones that relate back to the subject. So, the man who sold me this gerbil lives in Montana. Who would be a relative pronoun because it's referring back to the man. Which man? The one who sold me the gerbil. He lives somewhere else. Okay, but who there in that sentence is relative pronoun. It's easy to get it's easy to get relative pronouns and interrogative pronouns mixed up because a lot of times they're the same. But interrogative pronouns are used differently than relative pronouns. So, interrogative pronouns are the ones that we use to ask questions. In the word interrogative, you can see the word rogo in there. Excuse me. Well, rogo means I ask in Latin. So we get interrogate and interrogative. So when you use an interrogative pronoun, you're asking a question. And we're going to spend the rest of this episode talking about this concept. So, in English, interrogative pronouns, probably the most common ones, who, what, which, whose. We're going to stick with those for now. Who, you're asking a question. Who are we? Who put us here? What is our purpose here? Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? Who let the dogs out? Who stole the cookie from the cookie jar? Those are all interrogative pronouns and all very, very important questions. What is that? What are these? What are those? Those are interrogative pronouns. What in Latin is easy. It's quid. What are you looking at? Quid spectas. What are you doing? Quid facit. What is that? Quid est hoc. What is easy? It's quid. Then there's who. Who changes a little bit based on gender. So if you want to know who someone is and you're pointing at a boy, you say quis. Quis est hoc puer. Who is that boy? Actually, it'd be quis est ille puer. Talk about that another time, this demonstrative pronoun. Quis est puer, you could say, basically. Who's the boy? Quis est vir? Who's the man? Quis est avunculus? Who's that? Whose uncle is that? No, that wouldn't be right. Who is that uncle? That's a weird one. If it's feminine, you would say, instead of quis, you would say que. Okay, so who's that girl? Que es puella? Who is that girl? Que es mater? Who is that mom? Now, I'm taking that out. It's a demonstrative pronoun. We'll talk about it later. But for now, quis, masculine, que, feminine. Okay? So, if I wanted to ask a question about something in general, like who's laughing, or who's listening, or who's speaking, or who says, or who called me, but I'm asking a question about a masculine voice, or someone, or about a boy, I would use quis. Quis ridet? Who's laughing? And I'm talking about the boy. Quis audet? Who's listening? Quis dicit? Who says? And again, I'm asking about a boy, or a man, or an uncle, or a father. Quis vocat? Quis me vocat? Who called me? Okay, if it's feminine, I use que. Que ridet? Who's laughing? But I'm asking about a girl. Que audet? Who's listening? I'm asking about a girl. Que dicet? Who says? Again, it's feminine. Que me vocat? Who called me? Which girl called me? Which lady called me? If it's plural, we use qui. So we can use all the same verbs again, but we have to make them plural. So qui rident? Who's laughing? Now I'm asking about everybody. Who are all those people laughing? Qui rident? Qui audiunt? Who are they? Who's listening? Who out there right now is listening? Qui audiunt? Qui dicunt? Who says? Qui me vocant? Who's calling me? But I'm asking again, because it's vocant, it's plural. Okay? And I'm using qui. So, quis is masculine. These are all interrogative pronouns. We talked in general about pronouns. All of these that I'm about to say are interrogative pronouns. Quis is masculine, and it means who. Que is feminine, and it means who. Qui is plural, and it means who. And then really the neuter form of who is what. And to say what, we use quid. Quid is very easy. There they are, the interrogative pronouns in Latin. We're going to break them down in the different cases later, and the spellings are going to change again. But in the nominative case, interrogative pronouns, quis, que, qui, quid. Let's practice.